In this video, we're going to look at taking a 3-core cable from an already wired ceiling rose and pendant or batten lamp holder. And this works nicely if you wanted to, say, wire to an extractor fan in a bathroom. You put a 3-core from the light point to an isolator and then to the extractor fan. Or it could be that you want to continue on the lighting circuit as well as having another light come on at the same time. So it might be that this is in, say, I don't know, a hallway where you have the first light come on and the second light come on together, but the second light is closer to another area, so you want to carry on your 3-plate method. So by using the 3-core, you can take the permanent line on as well. So it works in both ways. In the first video in this series, we looked at connecting up our ceiling rose and pendant and making a nice, neat layout. We then looked at adding a cable so we could take a feed to, say, another area. Maybe we're wiring a loft light, another light, or an outside light in a different area. And then the video after that, we looked at bringing the lighting circuit on at the same time. So we had this one and another light coming on at the same time, but we didn't continue the permanent line through that we will with this one. So I've introduced here my 3-core and CPC cable, and unlike previous ones, there's no point twisting it around to get it in the perfect place. We're just going to have to live with it because always a conductor will be in the wrong place. So from this, we want the permanent line, the neutral, CPC, and the switching line connection to come from here, say to a fan isolator, or to another light in the area that's going to come on at the same time. It works for both. So let's pull this one out and strip it back using the twin and earth strippers. Used them in all the videos now for these ones, and we just pull that off, and we've got our conductors. Now this is the bit that's important. It's thinking about what you're going to use for what. Well, the permanent line is going to be brown, that's a given. Our bare conductor is obviously our CPC, and then we're left with 2. One of these is going to be neutral and one of these is going to be switching line, but it's which one you're going to use for which. In the old system, pre-2004, the cable colors were red and black. Line was red and black was neutral. So often people think I'll use the black now as our neutral connection. Actually, the industry looked to deneutralize black because black is one of our phase colors or line colors. So actually, we're not going to use the black one as our neutral. We're going to use that as our switching line connection. And we're going to use our gray one as our neutral. But in order to identify these two, we're going to need to oversleeve them. The gray one with blue to make it the neutral, the black one with brown in order to make it the switching line. So let's start by making these connections inside our ceiling rose, which looks fully packed. We've seen in previous videos how to double up our terminals. You notice we haven't used the outside ones. They're where the flex would go for either my batten lamp holder or my ceiling rose and pendant. And the only reason I've taken them off is to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. I don't recommend you disconnect those conductors because obviously it's 2 more conductors you've got to make back in. So this 3-core is going off either to another lighting point or it's going off to our fan isolator. Let's make our connections. So we'll do our CPC one first. We'll just loop that round, try and keep it as neat as we possibly can in here. So make our CPC connection. Oversleeve it with green and yellow. I did say yellow in one of my videos and I got pulled out a load of times for that one. I apologise for slightly incorrect pronunciation. I can't even say pronunciation either, so that's good. Right, okay, so there we go. So we're going to connect our CPC. It doesn't matter if it's not going in the same. It's a brass terminal with 2 holes, so we can go in either one. We'd have to join the other ones. It's a solid brass terminal. We talked about that in video number 1. Just pop the screw out there so you can see we're in there. Very fiddly. Imagine this was upside down. That screw would probably now be on the floor and I would be looking for it. The rule is, whichever way you think it bounced, it's probably gone the other way. There's a top tip for you. So CPC is connected. What's next? Well, let's do our grey one. We're going to bring that round. It doesn't matter which of the 2 we join it in again because it's a solid block, but we're probably not going to use the outside one because that's where the flex is going to be for our pendant. Bringing some blue sleeve in. Probably could have used a slightly tighter one, but we're going with that one. Going to dress it round and we're going to make our connection in our neutral block. So that takes our neutral through. Let's use these again. Okay, so strip that one back, check it looks about the right length so we can dress it reasonably neatly in. Looks fine to me. And we join our neutral together and pop that one in there. So that makes that connection. Let's bring our sleeving round. So our grey one becomes our neutral in our 3-core. It can either, like I said, go to your fan isolator or be going across to another lighting point. Let's wiggle that down and then dress it into position. So we've got that one in there like that. So that's our neutral in. let's do a line one next. We're going to have a little bit of crossing over there. We can't help it. I'm just going to bring it down and bring it in this end one here. Again, it wouldn't matter of the threes, which ones I went into. Strip it differently this time. Okay, so strip back my outer PVC and I'll connect my line connection. So that will go through to the point that I need it at, whether it be the extractor fan or another light fitting. It's quite cute taking a 3-core between light fittings so you can carry the permanent line through. So that's made that connection. And then we've got our switching line so we can have that go through as well. So again, brown sleeving, identifying the black as a switching line. You can see how it's getting a little bit thinking. Imagine you were changing this point here for, say, a new light fitting. There's a little bit of thinking got to go on in order to make sure you are comfortable with all your connections, because now we've got a black one, which is a switching line. We've got a blue one, which is in a neutral, which is a switching line. We've got a grey one, which is a neutral. So there's a fair amount going on in here. And just pop that one in so we can get the sleeving down a bit first before we start. And we make that connection. So hopefully you're thinking about the applications for this, especially where you're carrying it through to another area. So let's make that connection as well. So there we have it. We've got our connection with our 3-core, which will take our neutral on the grey conductor identified with blue sleeving, our brown permanent line connection, and our black with brown sleeving, which is our switching line, through to a fan isolator, and from the fan isolator, say, to the extractor fan, or we've taken it through to another ceiling rose and pendant, where we would have the grey with blue sleeving as our neutral, the black with brown sleeving as our switching line, and then we would have the brown in the loop terminal at the other point that's coming on at the same time, meaning that we could go from here, obviously, to another area in the house, and we've carried the feed through to that. So there's a nice little trick for doing that. And again, like I said, I've done some wiring diagrams on that as well. But as always, I hope this video has been some help.